Hello everyone! Today I'm going to be doing a January book recap. I hope everyone had a great January and is having a great start to their February. Let's talk about my books. So these are the 4 books that I finished. They're the 4 books I finished. I will go through and rate all of these and talk about my experience with every one of these books. And this is how the structure of this video will go. And I've written down my little outline of how I want to describe the books and everything, and then we're going to go through and update the journal as well at the very end. We're going to go in order of the way I finished each of the books. So my first book that I finished was A Court of Thorns and Roses. I gave this book a 3.5 stars and probably 1 spice, maybe. Like, it was spicy, but not spicy at all at the same time. Like, there was little things, but nothing crazy. Barely 1 full spice. And then I'd rate this probably 17 and up. But now let's describe what I liked and disliked about this book. This is a YA fantasy novel. It's my first ever fantasy I've ever read. This is not my favorite book. I am thinking I'm gonna DNF the rest of the series. Sadly, I know everyone's like, no, you need to read through the first book and then just push through. But I'm like, do I really want to? But the book in the very beginning I absolutely loved. Like, I was hooked the whole time and I never wanted to put it down. But all of a sudden, it was like turned to life or death in this book. And I was like, I literally had to take my anxiety pills 4 different occasions to finish this book. Like, it gave me so much anxiety, and so sorry if I'm looking down a lot. I'm looking at my notes. It just gave me a lot of anxiety and didn't love it. I think if the sudden change wouldn't have happened, if it was like a slow change instead of like a boom, it just happened, I think I would have definitely rated this at least a 4 stars. Like, I was like, this could be like a 5-star book. Like, how often does your first book be a 5-star book? I was like, this is a really good book. And then it just all went downhill, for me at least. But I think a lot of people will love it, but my anxiety did not. I really want to give the rest of the book series a try, but I'm not really sure if it's worth the anxiety or if it's a waste of time, because I don't want to read the rest of the series, because the other books, like, there's this book and then there's one other book that's like slightly tinier, but the rest of them are like, I think close to over 500 pages each, and there's 4 more in the series, and I'm like, is that a waste of time? I could read multiple other books instead of reading that book if I don't like it. I know it sounds like I'm a little babyish with how much the anxiety was, but like, I literally had to take my anxiety medicine 4 different times, so be ready for that. But I'm hopefully gonna give the rest of the series, the second book of the series, a try a little later in the year, and hopefully I will finish that and love it. And because everyone says after the first book it gets better, but I don't know how it gets better, so I'm like, does it get better because it's more scary or what? So that's my review on this book. I recommend it if you love fantasy. And then we have Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. I love this book. I love this book. I gave it a 4.5 stars. There was no spice. Literally no spice, but I love the story, and it's a YA fiction. If you don't know what YA is, it's a young adult fiction. I love it. It's literally so good. And one of my favorite quotes is, "Hello, I hope somebody's listening." Like, y'all need to like listen to this. Like, read this book, please. Read it. I absolutely love this book, but I did not give it 5 stars because I did not get the 5-star feeling. I related so much to this book. Like, I related so much. I was like, that is so sweet, and I love it. And I can't wait to read more of her books, of Alice Oseman's books. She has lots of other ones, so I'm ready to read those. I have not gotten them, but I'm ready to read them. And there is just so many good quotes in this book that I literally would go back right now and annotate it. I've never annotated a book, but I feel like this would be a great first book because it's so easy and fast to read. This is my biggest book of the month, and I read this within like 3 days. I was reading it speedy. I love this book. Going with how much I loved it, I literally went and looked up like the fan art and more of her books, and I literally wanted to cry. Like, it's so good, and I love the representation in this book, and it's just so good. This book literally almost brought happy tears. Like, happy tears. And if you know me, I do not cry very often. Like, I literally wanted to cry. This book was so good. And I honestly wish Radio Silence or Radio City was a real thing because I think I would love it. I loved that throughout the book we learned why he started it and then the secret details within Radio City. Like, y'all need to read it. It's so good. And I love the little details hidden in the Radio Silence. Get it? Because it's Radio Silence and there's Radio Silence, and it's so good. I love it so much. I love this book as I was reading it, but sadly I haven't thought so much about it. I say that, but I changed my lock screen on my computer and changed it to Radio Silence. So I think about it every time I open my computer, but I haven't thought about it without like seeing the cover, which it is very hard for me to remember things like that. So I'm not that surprised about it. I definitely recommend this for anyone from like the age of 12 up to like 19. I definitely feel like this book, if you were much older than me and I'm 18, I would not recommend it because you could say it's a little childish, like a little bit, but other than that, it's so good. But if I don't think I would have loved it as much if I was much older. So that's one thing, but I love it. So I definitely recommend to read this book. Next, our third out of 4 reads, we have Dungeons and Drama. I love this book. As soon as I saw this cover at the bookstore, I literally was like, Mom, look at this book. And then I read the back and I was like, this girl literally sounds like me. She literally sounds like me. I was like, I love this book. I rated this book a 4.75 stars. And there's no spice in this book. Maybe like there's like a kiss, but other than that, not really anything. But it's a YA rom-com and it's so good. It's so good. Like, it's even better than I thought. I looked at the cover and I was like, this is amazing. And then I read the book and I was like, this is even better. Like, it's so good. And once again, I did not give this a 5-star, even though I love it. But I did not get the 5 stars feeling. I wish I did, but I love it. This book was a fake dating book, which was my first time ever reading a fake dating. And I was not mad at it. It was good. Like, it did not make me mad or anything, so I feel like I understood what it meant. This book was super good, and I related so much to the main character, literally so much. Like, and I love the way that they brought up Broadway, and then they talked about the D&D aspects. I love that. I recently watched a campaign of D&D, and I love it. I want to play it so bad. So if you know anyone that plays D&D, let me know, because I would love to play it. And then also, if you love Broadway musicals, make sure you put it in the comments what your favorite Broadway musical is. And also, this book isn't very big. It's like, I think it was 320 pages long, and I finished this book within 24 hours of starting it. Like, I loved it that much. Like, I literally was like, oh, and I'm hooked. I literally looked at it, I was like, oh, okay, we're gonna finish this right now. It's so freaking good. And I honestly wish there was a second part to see how the rest of this, like, how the rest of her life played out. Because I would really like to see how the relationship turns out, and then how the campaign and the musical turns out within the rest of their years. I would love to see that, and how their life continues. Like, I would pray for this to be for there to be a second book. It's so good. And then once again, I would recommend this to like a 15 to 20-year-old person. It's definitely not for people much older than that because they're in high school, and same with Radio Silence, they're in high school, so like you kind of have to be like still within thinking about high school whenever you're reading these books. But also, if I was much older, I don't think I'd love this book, but then also, like, I kind of forget how old they are, so whenever I read books, I just automatically think they're my age. Is that, like, weird to say? But, like, I automatically am like, even if they tell me their age, I'm like, oh, they're my age. They're 18. They're 18. And I'm like, okay. So, But if that's how you think, then you could definitely read this book whenever you want. But this book you could definitely read until you're older, because like the writing itself is more mature than Radio Silence. So I definitely recommend this book. And then finally, the last book, not the least, and then When in Rome by Sarah Adams. I love this book. This was my first ever 5-star book ever, and I absolutely love it. There is 1 spice, I would say 1 out of 5 spice rating. This romance is a 17 plus year, like older than 17-year-olds. I mean, if you're younger, you could read it, but I think it would be a little scandalous-ish, but you just might not understand what it's saying. But other than that, this is a great book. Like, I love this book from the second I literally, like, laid my eyes on it, the same as Dungeons and Drama. I love this book. The whole time I was literally smiling, and you couldn't have wiped the smile off my face. I literally loved it so much. So many good parts in the ending and beginning and everything of this book that in the last 3 chapters after I finished the book, I had to go back and annotate the last 3 chapters. That's how good it was. I literally, like, here, wait, let me try to show you one. I don't know if y'all can see this, but like, look at all those lines. I'm not sure if y'all can see that at all, but like, there's so many lines covered. Like, I absolutely love this book. I absolutely loved this book. Like, this definitely gave me the 5-star feeling. Like, I was like, I don't know if I ever will get the 5-star feeling, but when I read this book, I was literally like, no, this is it. This is it. I also can't wait to read the rest of Sarah Adams' books. There is a second part to this book. You don't technically have to read them together, but she recommends you to read them together. It's about Nathan, this dude, Nathan's sister, Annie, and I'm like, I can't wait. I can't wait. I literally can't wait. Can y'all tell how excited I am? I can't wait. But I don't want to read it right now because then I'm like, well, then I don't have anything to read. That'll get me excited. So I'm waiting until like I need a book that will be 5 stars. And then this book is a Grumpy Sunshine book. If you love long tension love, like it's just taking forever. Like they like know they love each other, but then they won't admit it to each other. But like you like the long tension and like it takes forever for them to finally tell each other that they like each other. But other than that, if you love that, then you will love this book. You will literally love this. And I definitely would recommend it if you just love a good romance book. Like, this is just a perfect little romance book. It's pretty quick. It's another like 300 and something pages. I think it's 305 or something. Yeah, 305. It's another quick read. It's so good. I did not finish this as fast because I was like, it's so good. I want to keep it going as long as possible. So I would just think about it and then read it again when I could not stop thinking about it. And then when I picked up this book, I did not want to put it down. Like, once I started reading it, I was like not stopping. Like, that's why I had to like stop myself so I could enjoy the book as I was reading it. Other than that, I definitely recommend this book. This book is so good. I recommend all these books, but this one definitely because it's the first 5-star I've ever had. But I love it. I love it. I love it. But these two were probably my top contenders. This is first place, second place. But we will get further into that whenever we fill in the journal. Okay, so here's the journal. And don't mind my nails once again, they look horrible. We are gonna go in, and of course I've already wrote in some of these. I wrote in the Court of Thorns and Roses. I wrote in the Dungeons and Drama and the Radio Silence. I have to fill in the When in Rome. So we're gonna fill in these. So on this, I only have like regular, so 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, and then 1 in DNF. But other than that, so it's just gonna be just whatever the first number is. There's no halves or quarters or anything. So 5-star is When in Rome. And then to the 4 stars, we're going to be writing in Radio Silence. And then we will be writing in Dungeons and Drama. Okay, and then for 3 stars, we're going to be writing Thorns and Roses. And I don't have that much room, so that's why I'm not writing out like full names for the Akora Thorns and Roses. While that dries, we are going to go to, oh yeah, and then these are my January reads. Of course, the Akora Thorns and Roses, Radio Silence, Dungeons and Drama, and then When in Rome. And then we go to our 2024 book bracket, and then I put in January, When in Rome. And with this, I am not going to color in or anything because my plan is to print out little pictures of the actual covers of the books. So, but for my favorite book of January, I put When in Rome since it's a 5-star book. So then we're just going to color in When in Rome. Because oh, it's orange, but whatever. I'm going to do blue, like this. So, it's going to be very light blue, but... So we have the little library. I love it. There's 3 of the books, and then I have the shelf. I made the shelf for the series, but I'm not sure how that's going to work out. And then we have the book rates. When in Rome is at 5 stars, and then Radio Silence and Dungeons and Dragons at, oh my gosh, Dungeons and Drama at 4, and then Thorns and Roses on. Then of course the January reads are there. And then of the book bracket, of course we have When in Rome as the January one. So I finished the journal. Here are all the stuff that we worked on today, and I hope everyone had a great January and everything, and I hope you loved this video and that you like and subscribe and comment what your favorite book is and what book you think I should read next. I learned how to turn on the comments, so make sure you're doing that, and then make sure you're going and following me on social media, on all my social media, on TikTok and Instagram. It's SBDrake2005, and I will put it on the page. But I hope you loved this video. Make sure you comment, watch my other 2 book videos, and one will be linked right here on the page.